Hi, how are you?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this album is very distinctly different. Red, Green, Blue is another way of referencing the three of us. I'm red, Isaac represents green, Zach is blue. And we made this album very differently. Each of us presented 5 songs and basically led the creative process for those 5 songs, sort of like 3 solo projects combined. But we did work with 2 collaborators the whole time, 2 producers, and Jim Scott, who's a legendary mixer, producer, engineer, Grammy Award-winning, incredible, and then David Garza, who's also an artist and a producer. And yeah, it's different than anything we've ever done. You hear each of our creative expressions and literal voices, more.
Yeah.
You don't. We've always traded off leads, like different people taking them, but it hasn't been as even. Like 3, 5, 5, 5. Mm-hmm. So you just hear, I think, the foundation of what has made up our band, which is all 3 of us write songs, all 3 of us play different instruments, all 3 of us are involved in the production and that whole process.
Well, every show that we play is a little bit different. So the show that we play in Monterey will be slightly different than the show we play in Mexico City. But what you can always expect is, number 1, a great time. But also, in addition to that, we play stuff from the very first record all the way to the latest record and everything in between. We try and make sure that that we're serving the audience, whether you've been a fan for the last 25 years and been to a lot of concerts, or whether you're coming to the show for the very first time. And so I think there's something for everybody. And of course, you play lots of the different singles over the years, but you also play lots of other things that are fan favorites also. So
well,
yeah.
we couldn't have predicted it, but we hoped we would.
Yeah, I think you can probably find interviews of us when I was 11 or 12, and people would say, "What are you going to be doing in 5 years?" And we'd go, "We're going to be playing music in 30 or 40 years."
Yeah.
Because I think our aspiration has always been looking at the people we admired, right? You look at legends like Chuck Berry or Billy Joel or Paul McCartney or the Rolling Stones, and they're still playing into their 60s, 70s, 80s. And so music is the kind of career that, if you're lucky to have fans that are willing to support you, you can continue to do it right up till the end.
Yeah, it's interesting to me how much people don't expect longevity, in time from bands, and it makes sense in some respect because it is hard. It's very difficult. It's high intensity, it's high demand, it's traveling and stress, but for us, music is a big reflection of who we are. It's not that there's not other things in your life and that you couldn't be creative other ways, but it's very personal. It's very direct. It's very much an expression of something you enjoy, and it's worth fighting for, keeping that job. So tired. No, we feel good. I mean, I know that we have gone through a lot of difficult changes, just whether it's a band that evolves. You go through life. We're all fathers with wives and kids, and we've started label, we've started a beer company, we've done lots of different things. So it's a much richer experience to be at this point in your life. You have lots of history, but I still feel genuine excitement about things, making things, about the fact that we get to be inspired, put it down into a song, record it, share it, and that we still get to reach people. I mean, we'll be in 90 cities around the world this year, and not just in our home country, but in Latin America and Mexico and Europe. We were just in Europe and Australia. So there's excitement and energy and frankly a sense of gratitude for the fact that so many folks have stuck with us.
I think starting our own record company has been the hardest thing.
Yeah, that was definitely a pinnacle moment, a key turning point.
Exactly, because just because you can write the songs and make the records doesn't mean that you'll be able to also manage releasing the records and connecting with fans and things like that. But we've been doing that now for almost 20 years. And so I think it hasn't been easy, but it's also been the main thing that's allowed us to stay, I think, together and to grow the way that we have as artists and to maintain the relationship that we have with our audience. Because the problem we had with the record company that we inherited through several corporate mergers was that they were looking for popularity. They weren't looking for a
the
career.
nose on their face, not
Yeah.
not long term. You know, everything we've always done has always been about how will this reflect on things in 10 years, in 20 years, and it's difficult sometimes to find partners who are willing to look that far into the future and dream that big about where you can be decades in the future.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the reception overall has been really strong, and you know, again, it's also been really fun because it's a truly global release. I mean, since we started the label back in 2003, we've had releases all over the world, but to really have a coordinated, you know, global release, everything's digital now, so digital. It's been very cool to truly have the fans. You know, like a lot of times historically, hey, Japan release is going to be delayed because we would put it out physically or we would go there, you know, on a specific tour just to promote.
Yeah.
But now to have a worldwide tour and a worldwide release, we've been able to see the responses from Mexico to Brazil to Finland to Australia, you know, all over the planet. And it's been fantastic. And I think too, this is an interesting moment for all of us as a civilization. I mean, we've come through the pandemic, we've come through these strange years. And we've seen a real kind of, the silver lining is a hopefulness from people and excitement, like almost a purity of just, wow, I want to celebrate. I want to get a new album. I want to hear a song that's encouraging. I want to come to a concert. So it feels like if you're an optimist, you would say we're headed into one of the most potentially exciting times for creative artists and performers ever, because there's such a desire, I think, to see that happen. And for us with an album, this album is reflecting a different quality of our band, which is at the core, Isaac, Taylor, and Zach, red, green, blue. And that's an exciting thing to say 30 years in.
When we were kids, we started being sort of identified by those colors, like things like toothbrushes and backpacks, right? Then I guess by that it sort of became a favorite color because you were identified with it. It was your color, right? But more than anything, red, green, blue is those three colors. You can make any color, right? It's a color format. You see it in LED lights and TVs, and so it's really an analogy for the fact that not only do we each identify with those colors, but everything HANSON is some combination of a little more blue or a little more red or a little more green, and we think that that's kind of a cool thing to talk about, the DNA, the makeup, the parts that make HANSON what it is.
We love the Mexican fans.
Yeah.
They've been very, you know, they're very loud. I'll say that when we're at a show, they're expressive, and we see Mexican fans that travel to come see us in different places. I've always felt the presence of the Mexican fans on our online community. You know, we have a fan club online that's been going for 20 years. We definitely hear and see the Mexican fan base there. So, I mean, we feel very welcome when we're in Mexico. So that's why we're playing 5 concerts in the country.
Most we've ever played on any tour.
Yeah. Wow.
Could change anything. Oh my gosh.
I would give myself a pep talk about communication. Years ago, I would say, Zach, this is how you deal with conflict. I mean, one of those most difficult things to deal with is as you grow, you change and you evolve and your needs change. And sometimes, I mean, we always struggle with that, you know, as the brothers need different things or their skills evolve in different ways, finding ways to go, okay, you want that now or you need this now. And so I think you just sort of help yourself through that. We're all lucky we've been married for a long time. I've been married 16 years.
Same here.
Is about to be 16 years. Taylor's 20 years. So we've all had this rich experience with sort of love and long-term relationships. But the brother relationship is just another one of those you have to continually go, where are we? What do we still share? What has changed? And kind of finding your way through that. We've managed to do it, but we probably could have done it with less pain. Yeah.
Well, I think the fun thing about a song like Ombop is, it's a song that we wrote when we were kids, but it's a song that we still are very proud to perform even today. And I think the reasons for that are probably many reasons. The first reason would be that it's a personal song for us. It's a song that is very much, it's written by the three of us. It was about real challenges we were going through in our own lives, having to decide to pursue music and losing some friends along the way because of that, and saying to ourselves, well, is music really what we want to do with our lives and really what we care about? Right. And if people, and in some way or another, those who understand that about us will understand who we are and will maintain that relationship. And then you play that out into the bigger world and say, the things that matter to you are a part of who you are, and they attract the relationships and the things that will last into your life. And so then 25 years later, you're standing at, the Sydney Opera House with an orchestra behind you, performing, singing that song. And it feels just as good in 2022 as it did in 1997. And it's not the only thing that you're proud of.
Sure.
It's not the only thing you're proud of, but it's certainly something that we're all really, really feel very lucky to have.
Well, I think technically, can RGB be one word?
Yeah. Rugb. Color. No.
I would say. One
word is too few words.
Interest. I would say diverse.
We'd say music. One thing about this record.
Perfection.
Yeah, perfection.
Inspired.
It's
I don't know.
It's really, I think, about telling a deeper story, about inviting people continually into not just listening, but experiencing who we are as a band and the stories that we tell. And so, however to encapsulate that into as small form as possible, you'd say it's an invitation, I think, to people to listen to HANSON every time with new ears, with new understanding.
I would say rediscovery. I don't know.
Yes.
Hi, we're HANSON, and we'd like for you to check. Hey, we're HANSON. Check out our new record, Red, Green, Blue. It's available now on all streaming services and wherever you can find your music. If you want to find us on social media or online, you can check out HANSON or HANSON Music, or go to our website, hanson.net.